You didn't have class this morning, didn't you?
Yes.
Yes.
So why are you sleepy then? Why are you sleepy then, guys? Okay, guys. So, well, how are your classes going? Difficulties with your classes, or are they going well? How are your classes going?
Doing well. A
Well,
little
Okay.
teacher.
difficult.
Yes, they're going fine.
Oh yeah, great.
Okay. So I suppose that in the early morning you have a French, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and all the platforms have worked properly. Have you had any problem with connectivity, connection, plugins? I don't know, uh, wireless connection. Have you had problems with?
No.
Okay, guys. So well, please remember that today we are going to have just 1 hour. We are going to work from 9 to 10, and after you have to work by your own, okay? So I suppose that you received some weeks ago, you received, I'm going to mute all your microphones, okay? So I suppose that you received, I'm going to record the class. Let me see if I can. Oh, yes, perfect. So, guys, I suppose that you received 2 readings about authentic materials. Did you work on them?
Yes.
Did you read the text?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
teacher.
So today we are going to talk about authentic materials. And after I'm going to divide the class, I'm going to split the class into small groups, and you're going to answer some questions, okay? I'm gonna give you some time you to answer those. And to finish, the idea is you are gonna start working on your authentic material. So please pay attention to me. What are we going to do? So today we watch the video, we are going to talk, or we are going to discuss what authentic materials are. After, you are going to answer some questions, and before finishing our session for today, the idea is that you are going to start working on your authentic material. So the idea is that you are going to create your material in the groups you were working before, because remember that you have the same population, and you create your authentic material for them. Imagine that you are going to apply this material, and you're going to use this material in your classroom. So it means that you have to plan your material. Your material should be uh, based on that population. So you have a specific time to create your material, because your homework, one of the first assignments is to create the material. So on Saturday, the idea is that everybody, I'm going to open a Drive document. I'm going to open a file on Drive, and the idea is that you are going to pause, you are going to submit your materials or your authentic materials there. So after, I am going to assign a material or a task to a different task. For example, Angela's group is going to receive Gabriella's authentic material, and Angela's group is going to evaluate, or is going to give, or is going to provide feedback to this authentic material. So the you have till Monday, okay, Monday next week, to give comments and to give feedback, okay? And after receiving the feedback from your classmates, you are going to make changes if necessary, and I am going to receive the final version of that material on Wednesday. Is it clear for everybody?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, teacher.
okay, fantastic. So babies, we are going to start. So how many people are there now? 24. How many people? You are around 27, okay? So let's start. Well, first of all, I would like to listen. I would like you to tell me what is an authentic material. What an authentic material is. Okay, so Daniela, darling, what is an authentic material? Daniela. She's not there. Okay, Daira, what is the concept of authentic materials?
Are those materials that attempt to the real language and the real life?
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Good. So, Jessica Natalia, what is an authentic material?
Okay, teacher, I understand that authentic material is, for example, text of the real life with meaningful communication to the students. Is related with topics of their context in some, for example, poems, short text, newspaper articles, movies. That's
Mm-hmm. Okay, Camilo, what is the concept of authentic materials? Okay, Camilo,
Which
Camila
kind?
don't have the
he doesn't have?
Yes.
Oh gosh. Okay, Geraldine Tatiana, please.
mm, okay. I understood that authentic materials is that materials that involve the language that naturally occurs as communication in the native speaker context.
Or native speaking context. Okay, guys. So
Yes.
on Moodle, I paused a video. We are going to watch that video and we come back to this session. Okay, I'm going to share the screen with you. Okay, everybody has access to Moodle, right? Do you? Do you have access to Moodle?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, here we go. So we are going to check this video. I don't know if that is working properly. If that is not, I am going to watch. Many people, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yes. Give me a minute, please. Because I don't know what happened with this today. No. Okay, please. Everything is going to be recorded, even though there is someone in the bathroom. Authentic. I'm gonna send you. Here we have.
Language. The biggest issue for us teachers is choosing an appropriate text to fit our purpose. As Cook points out, just because authentic makes you think.
Okay.
Every teacher
Can you listen to to this on this YouTube?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, here we go again. Sorry, I need to verify that everything is working there.
All right.
kind of knows what it is, I guess, but we're never really sure about it. So now we're going to look at exactly what they are, why we should use them, and also some of the issues and challenges that come with using authentic materials. This is basically a breakdown of a really interesting article by Alex Gilmore called Authentic Materials and Authenticity in Foreign Language Learning. There's a link in the description down below. First of all, actually putting your finger on what authentic materials are is kind of tricky. I mean, Does it have to be produced by a native speaker? Does the use also have to be authentic? Does modifying it, even by changing the format, render it inauthentic? Let's look at what the experts say so we're all on the same page. One widely accepted definition for authentic text is a stretch of real language produced by a real speaker or writer for a real audience and designed to convey a real message of some sort. Some theorists say it needs to be produced by native speakers for native speakers, but others disagree. As you can see, even the experts find it difficult to agree on whether or not something is authentic. So for us, it's just more practical to think of it as a continuum. On one end of the continuum, you have those texts from course books. You know the ones. Is this my hat? No, it isn't your hat. That's my hat. Is this my hat? He says, pointing to a different hat. Yes, it's your hat. Here, the text is only used to display language, and it's done in a way that is totally separated from real life. And on the other extreme, we have the small talk you have with your best friend, filled with nonverbal cues, deep understanding of context, and many non-standard and creative uses of language. The biggest issue for us teachers is choosing an appropriate text to fit our purpose. As Cook points out, just because authentic makes you think genuine, real, and natural, it doesn't necessarily mean it's good. And just because something is contrived, it doesn't mean it's not useful. It all depends on why you want to use a text. Now let's look at some reasons people do use authentic texts. As we mentioned before, many texts in course books don't match real-life uses of language. And if our jobs as teachers is to develop students' communicative competence, not only does it make sense, the literature also says we should be exposing them to language that is as similar as possible to real life. An interesting case for this is reported speech. According to analysis of corpora, which are collections of examples of real language use, the way people actually report speech is way different to what is frequently seen in texts in course books. You always see a heavy emphasis on backshifting and reporting verbs in course books, when in fact people often just say, "Oh my God, he was totally like, kill me now, please." The same goes with functions of agreeing and disagreeing in real business meetings and course book meetings, totally different. And the fact that in real life we don't use both clauses while using conditionals, yeah, that's a thing. Course books do not show reality, and that will impact students' communicative competence. Another thing is when you ask students to open to page 63, they groan. But if you bring them a song, a book, or a recent news article, that might actually pique their interest, making them want to pay attention to what you're teaching. Course books are intended for a global audience, and if you try to please everyone, the needs of the individual student gets lost. Although studies haven't established a clear link between authenticity and motivation, we think you'd agree that bringing in something that is relevant to their needs would be much better than reading about Linda McCartney on page 84. Another reason you should is because it's developmental. You're taking a text and creating tasks with your students' needs and interests in mind. That means you're thinking about how languages are learned, how to structure lessons, what makes good tasks. You're critically thinking about the learning aims of your students as well as how you're helping them to achieve them. This type of reflection makes you a better teacher. It changes lives for the better and helps create a better world for all of humankind. Okay, maybe not, but still, it's good for you. So now it's pretty clear that using authentic materials is beneficial. It's not to say that it's easy though. The big issue is how to use them with lower level students. How are they expected to understand language intended for real communication? Students are cognitively able, regardless of their linguistic ability, so you could, in theory, build in support in previous tasks and lessons that enable them to understand authentic text. For example, activating schemata, like getting them to talk about what they know about the topic and learn from each other. Other examples of scaffolding include pre-teaching key language, developing the skill of guessing from context, or simply providing a glossary. A different angle of attack would be to modify the text so that the students can understand the language. The issue here is twofold. One, the text will slide down the continuum. And if you're not careful, you might inadvertently leave out contextual cues and make it more difficult to understand. Things like irony or sarcasm, they're difficult to simplify. But also, if you shorten and simplify spoken texts, you will raise the lexical density, join separate clauses into compound or complex sentences, and it can make students only focus on the most obvious definitions of a word. The alternative to that is to modify the task, not the text, to fit the students. Even beginner students can listen to authentic materials if given an appropriate and useful task for their level, such as picking out times and numbers mentioned in a recording. It might sound really simple, but students do find it rewarding to be able to understand words spoken in real-life communication, especially at low levels. There are many advocates for modifying tasks, not tests, and we recommend you to try it out. So now we know what an authentic text is and how to place texts on a continuum. We've also seen the benefits of using them with classes, as well as some of the challenges and possible solutions. One final thought to ponder, though. Is a Japanese doctor giving medical advice on BBC Radio not an authentic material? It is her second language. What do you think? Hash it out in the comments.
Okay, guys, so is it clear? The app is not working for Kelly. But Christian is recording this session, so when we finish, we are going to send a record. So it means that the people who couldn't participate today because of problems with the internet or something like that, they can watch the class, okay? Good, guys. So what are the benefits of using authentic materials? So as you remember, before this outbreak, we discussed that it is important to consider or to take into account the context under which we are working, the needs of the population, etc., etc. You remember, guys? So, Diana, darling, what are the benefits of using authentic materials?
Well, it could be that if you are learning in a real context, you can share this content with the real life, so you can answer. So you can answer more punctual.
Okay. So, authentic materials, as we already mentioned, are those materials that have been created by native speakers, but they were not designed for teaching and learning purposes. So we use them in order to teach something, but they were not originally created for that reason. So here, it means that we can adapt them. Maybe this task is so high level, a high level one, so we can, I don't know, ask simple question, we can modify it somehow, simplify it, depending on the needs of our population, depending on our purpose or our objective in the class. Okay, so Angelo, any other benefit when using or of using these authentic materials?
Well, it enables us to like learn the real language. So maybe you can, as a student, learn how to maybe speak in a native speaker, and maybe as a teacher, it's a creative like approach, because it can motivate students to learn like more meaningful, if you know what I mean.
Okay, okay, so that's really important because sometimes, and this is what they mention, what they discuss, the continuum of authenticity. Sometimes we use a language or a language that is not understood by everybody because we keep in mind like grammar, like the formal part of the language, but in real life, the language is not used like that. So the idea is to lower, to close this continuum of authenticity. That is the difference, or that is the the lack that we have of using the real language in a specific, in a certain context. Any other benefit? So let me check, please. Gabriela, any other benefit?
Okay. It is important it is remarkable the motivation that you create doing like, okay, working with authentic materials. Yes. Because as in the video, some textbooks are so boring for the students. So if we, I don't know, modify them, or modified it in other materials, yes, if we modified it too, it will be more interesting for the students.
Okay, in this case, we talk about adaptation of materials.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know if you remember once we talked about what adaptation of material is, but for example, we find that there is a material that can help or can collaborate with the tasks that I need to teach. So I can modify the content or I can modify the activities. I adapt this material depending on the needs of my population.
Yes, exactly.
So my dear friends, what are we going to do now? Now, let's go to our Moodle. In there, so you're going to find some questions right below. The idea that I'm going to give you 15 minutes to discuss them. Here we have, what kind of authentic materials are used in your EFL classes? Why do you not prefer to use authentic materials in your EFL classes? How would you use authentic materials? What sources of authentic materials are available for you to use? Do you think using authentic material need a specific training? Based on your population, I need to create your own authentic material. That is the last task. So please, what are you going to do? You are going to answer from question number 1 to question number 5. I'm going to split the class into small groups, and you have 15 minutes to discuss and to chat and to talk and to answer these questions. So please rely on the texts that we already read on this video, and I'm going to give you 15 minutes you to answer them. Okay, guys? Is it clear for everybody?
Yes.
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 Very good. So I'm going to split. So that is going to be in groups of 4 people. Okay?
Okay.
The first group is, sorry, 7 people. Okay. That is higher than that. That is, give me a minute. What did I clear? So here it is. We have in the first group, that is going to be Gabriela, Gina, Laura Catherine, and Paula Andrea. The second group, Camilo, Christian, Marjorie, and Yuri Vanessa. The following group is Angelo, Gisette Vanessa, Maria Camila, and Melissa. The next is Daira, Daniela, Laura Camila, and Ronald. And the next, Juanita and Sofia. Juanita is repeated twice. Next, Diana, Kevin, Jessica, Natalia, and the last is Geraldine, Heidi, and Laura Daniela. So you have 15 minutes to start working on these questions that they are on Moodle. Okay, guys? So I'm gonna send you the picture of the groups, just in case that you are not there. Okay. You can start working on those questions. The questions are on Moodle. Just in case that you cannot get them, I'm going to copy, all right? I'm going to copy them from Moodle. So you're going to answer questions from 1 to 5. So here in the chat, I have just copied those questions, okay? So 15 minutes. We can start. Discuss the topic, discuss the task, discuss something, but without about. Okay, please.
Okay, we discussed the material. We choose audio material like radio, like
Radio.
programs, videos, and songs.
Okay.
And also newspapers that is common.
Okay, very good. So don't why don't you prefer to use authentic materials in your English as a foreign language classes? Okay. So the group of Diana, Kevin, and Jessica. The second one. The second question. So
Okay, sometimes we don't prefer to use it because of the complexity. Yeah, like for example, if we're gonna listen to an audio from the British Council, for example, yeah, and we think the complexity or if you're gonna use a text, no, the complexity of the vocabulary. Yeah, if for example, if we are talking about a beginner level, no, if you're gonna use an article taken, I think the vocabulary it is complex because sometimes we use more is more for advanced courses, and we discuss this case of it.
okay, good. So we don't use them or we don't privilege them because sometimes we're saying that they are a high level ones. So we avoid them. But in the for example, for TV news, sometimes it's difficult for us even to assign this kind of activities because of the content. But maybe we can use the TV news like for describing pictures or maybe I don't know to understand certain words or to identify what the parts of the TV news or the news are, so on and so forth. Okay, good. The second one, the same question, please, the group of Ronald.
Okay, teacher. We discussed that maybe there is not enough resources to apply or to use those materials in the full classes. And another possibility is, like my partner said before, that is not enough level to apply those materials, those kind of materials, like the songs or maybe the podcasts or TV shows, maybe magazines. And yeah, it's maybe a possibility to not to use or to apply those materials.
Good. So please, the group of let me speed up. Gabriela, Gina, Laura, and Paola. Number 3, how would you use authentic?
Hi. Can you listen to me?
Yes, teacher.
Gabriela.
Yes.
Is that actually true?
Similar. What happened with the teacher?
I don't know.
She's not here.
From
So, yeah,
Gabriela.
like you can look at the participants and her name is not there.
The amphitryon now is Monica.
Or Gabriela.
What? Yes, teacher.
Now the teacher is here.
Ay, oh my God.
Buena, buena. Es que la aprendí para eso.
Teacher, are you here?
But I will talk in English.
Oh, I'm sorry, my microphone was off.
Oh my God, teacher.
Okay, Monica, please. Monica, I need you to give me the grants as the host, please.
Monica, I stole the host.
Yes, I don't know why. Monica, please. Daira now is the
Daira.
host.
Daira the host.
I need the grant. Okay,
No,
guys,
it's Daira. Daira is the host. No.
please change. Well, Gabriela, why we take the problem here? Gabriela, please, your answer.
Oh, yes. I thought that you
Thank you,
can hear me.
Daira.
For the reason I say, like, can you hear me? All right.
Okay, again, please.
It was the third one, I mean.
Yes, it was the third one.
Okay, how will you use authentic materials?
Yeah.
Okay, we were just discussing, and we said that it depends. It depends on the population, in the age, in the English level. So, depending on that, we have to see which material we can use. Yes. Because as some partners said before, some of them are okay. Some of them has like a high level for our students, yes. So all of them can manage like all the materials that we want to apply to them.
Who is cooking right there?
With the spoon.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Okay, you're eating while you're in class. Okay, good. The following group, please. Sorry. Monica, darling, the third one. Monica, so please.
I think Monica.
Left.
Monica. Yes, it's because her internet
is not working properly. Okay, Juanita.
It's not working
You can
properly.
hear it. Okay, Juanita.
Okay. The third question, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, we will use authentic materials, taking them from the real websites of English communication. In that way, students can learn how to apply what they learn in a natural way. That in accordance with student needs and level of knowledge to achieve good knowledge or a good learning session.
Okay, thank you, darling. Number 4. Number 4, please, Heidi. So, what sources of authentic materials are available for you to use? Heidi. She's not there, or Geraldine Tatiana, please.
Okay.
Any person
Heidi doesn't have the mic.
The microphone. Okay. So any member from that group, please.
The 4. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. The 4.
Okay. The page that the native speakers use in their daily life, like the New York Times, that is a famous.
For example.
Yes, for example, that usually is a newspaper.
Okay,
We
good.
choose that.
Thank you. Daniela, your beautiful voice right there. Thank you. Okay, the following, let me check it up. Okay, Daira, your answer, please. Number 5. Do you
Disculpe que me
think
habían
using
preguntado. ¿Quiero
authentic
estar hablando con usted? ¿Qué? Ya les pregunto.
Do you think using authentic materials need a specific training?
¿Puedo seguir hablando?
Do you think using authentic materials need a specific training?
Not all is necessary just to have experience with your materials and know how to develop it with the level of the students.
Okay, guys. So, is everybody clear on the concept of authentic materials? So please.
Yes.
Yes.
Please, now we're gonna continue with the task. So look at here, I'm going to open the task that you have to hand in. So, aspects to be considered in your homework. Right? Okay, with the group, you have been working on your assignments, design an authentic material for your population. It could be newspaper, podcast, videos, etc. Aspects to be considered in your homework. Write the learning objective. You remember that the class before this outbreak, we were discussing, we had a class about how to write learning objectives. So please, you need to write what is the learning objective of that authentic material. So please rely or you need to remember the part of Bloom's taxonomy. Second, describe the purpose of your authentic material and how this helps your target population. Third, design your authentic material and get ready for peers feedback. So please, you need to consider the layout, so the appearance of the material, the design, the sequence, objective, second language acquisition principles, and material development principles. Deadline, well, I have to change it. That is on April the 4th, because the material should be shared with the teacher and partners in Google Drive format for further feedback and comments. All your classmates will provide, in this case, I'm going to assign groups, feedback by considering guidelines given by the teacher. I'm going to send you a rubric in order you to give comments and get feedback. Make changes after receiving feedback and send your final version of the material. I have to change this date again because, as I told you, the coordinator has just mentioned that we have a change, that we are not going to work during or we are not going to work on holiday, okay? So, my dear friends, now you can start working on your authentic material. This is the task that you have to do now. Remember that the deadline of this submission is going to be on April the 4th. On April the 13th, I'm going to send them, I'm going to assign the groups to get feedback and the rubric in order to do so. And on April 15, 16, you are going to give me your final version of the material. Is everybody clear on?
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
Yes, teacher.
Right. So please open your cameras. I want to see you all. Okay,
Teacher.
open your cameras, guys. That is really important.
Oh my god.
It's nice to see people. Or you are on your
teacher.
pajama. Okay. So guys, thank you very much. See you after Holy Week. We are going to send this session, the recorder, the video of this session, in order you to have access to this, because some students couldn't attend this class today because of given those problems with internet and wireless connection and those kind of things. So thank you very much. Such a pleasure to listen to you again, to hear from you again. See you later, okay?
All right.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
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 Bye.